How do I handle rejection, and what can I learn from it? All right, yeah, rejection. Have you ever reject? Well, yeah, I reject. I fail. I fail like multiples of time. Okay, I cannot tell you that in my entire lifetime how many time I fail, reject. Reject. Yeah, what is actually the reject? Reject means like that you are not acceptable for. Am I rejected for some sort of thing? Um, Probably is this thing that ki yeah, like like not kind of like a something very specifically rejected, but is that ki I would kind of like a consider them as a failure instead of reject. Okay, yeah, because like I don't know. Yeah, I've been kind of like a experience of failure a lot of time, and um okay, there is a one situation that I wanted to mention over here. Okay, yeah, it's actually kind of like a represent a reject. All right, yeah. So in 2016, I got a job. Okay, yeah, and I got a job in a kind of like a something like power plant. All right, yeah. So at that age, at that my age was 23. Okay, I recently done with the education. Okay, so this is my kind of like a something first job. So I was actually working on power plant. Okay, so my work is kind of like a something really a supervisor means like that ki I have to kind of like a giving the order to the worker that ki what they should supposed to do. Okay, yeah. First day I was not really sure what is actually the power plant and what is actually inside of there. Okay, I just do know that ki this kind of like a something like coal plant and stuff like that. I went there. Okay, and the inside world is kind of like a something very different, very different. Okay, yeah. I am belong to the kind of like a something little bit good family. Okay, yeah. And I am kind of like a talk good. Like basically is this thing that key like I don't know. Yeah, that I just kind of like a came from little bit good family. I'm not gonna say that ki really good family, but little bit good. Okay, yeah. And as also is this thing that ki um I was kind of like a something really have little bit sense that ki what I am and what I should supposed to do. Okay, yeah. When I went there, okay, I'm kind of like a something have to work with the labor, not work with the labor, kind of like a something stay with the labor. Okay, yeah. And these are the laborers. Okay, yeah. And they are not really properly educated, and they are like a really very different person, dude, like a very different person. Like I never really thought that ki these are kind of like a somebody person, but yes, like basically is it bad? No, it's not bad, but it's like that na ki all the laborers are kind of like a something age of my father. Okay, yeah. And I am kind of like at the age of 23, and basically all the labor, that means all the people that are under are kind of like a something at the age of my father. Okay, all almost everyone is 45 plus. So I was like how do I supposed to give them order, because I am their boss, and I have to give them that key, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. Okay. At the beginning I was like a really confused. Like I'm not the only one who's supervisor, there are couple of people as supervisor too. Okay, so they are actually kind of like telling me that key, you have to took this permit from there वगैरह वगैरह. Okay, I do that particular thing, but when I have a kind of like something giving them order to the labor, giving the order to the people. So sorry, yeah. All right. So basically is this thing that ki I went there. Okay, yeah. Handling labor is kind of like something very difficult task for me. Okay, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of like a something that ki I always feel like that ki I am kind of like something in very wrong place. By the way, all the supervisor that with me are all are as also almost like a 40 45 plus 2. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing, I am the only one in that particular power plant, like basically on the particular on that department was youngest. Okay, yeah. So I feel like that he I am like a like basically is this thing, I shouldn't supposed to be in here. Okay, yeah. So I feel little bit of rejected. Okay, yeah. Like, is it bother me? Like, it bother me a lot. Yeah. Like I don't know, yeah. It's like that, na ki I am kind of like a something is this thing that ki first kind of like a something task or problem is that ki the worker are kind of like a something really are kamchor. What's a kamchor? A kamchor means like that they don't want to do a work. Okay, they are bitterly lazy person. Okay, yeah. This is kind of like a something very challenging thing for me because there are a couple of laborers who are kind of like a something laborers worker are sorry, I'm kind of like a saying this word laborers and worker, like I'm not have kind of like some disrespect about them, no, nothing really at all. Yeah, it's a kind of like a something really a founding block for the kind of like a world and everything. It's a kind of like it's really good to have those people, but it's just like that ki I am interacting with some of the people who are really kamchor, really they don't want to do a work and something like that. Okay, yeah. So it's just like that ki my contractor who actually telling me that ki you have to put the pressure. How do I supposed to put the pressure, because I am basically the age difference was really different, and as also is this thing that ki this is the first time I just kind of like a something my job, and I have to kind of like a giving them order was like really difficult for me. Okay, like I don't know, and as also is this thing, especially I'm that kind of like a person who is really don't really have any kind of like a something that authority kind of figure. Okay, like authority means like that ki I like authority means like that na ki giving them order, a lead. Am I leader? Yeah, I am a good leader. Yeah, like am I good it's a very fucked up situation. I wanted to explain even more and more and more stuff about this thing, but it's just like that I have very less time about this thing. So whatever, let's just jump into the question. Okay, yeah, the question was that have you ever rejected? Okay, so basically is this thing what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that when I was in that working in that particular power company, at that time I don't really have kind of like a skills of kind of like a leadership or kind of like a something like that yeah, do I have that skill now? Well, I have, yeah, I have little bit. Okay, yes, but as also is this thing leadership is actually came from basically when you apply that leadership skill, it's kind of like something depend on which person that you are kind of like representing your leadership skills. Okay, what do you mean? Okay, so basically is this saying that each person has his kind of like a something, each person or each community of the people are kind of like a something different set of showing the leaderships represent the leadership. Okay, like example is that you are kind of like something very educated person. Okay, yeah, and you have authority to kind of like a lead the labor or lead the worker. Would you do that? Well, probably it's kind of like something very difficult because all your life is actually kind of like a spend to kind of like a something get involved in kind of like something educated people and something like that. You kind of like something develop your leadership skill according to the such a people, the educated people and stuff like that. But suddenly you are kind of like a facing the people who is barely educated. So it's a kind of like something very difficult to you to understand them, because it's just like that you have to get into that world, because these are the labor, these are the worker, they have kind of like a complete set of different perspective regarding about seeing the world. And it's a very different thing, dude. Okay, you have to get inside them, get to know them, get to know that you won't be able to put the kind of like a something authority to do this, do that. No, it's a very kind of like a something very tricky. And is it possible, is it not, like you will not properly lead that particular people. Okay, yeah. So these are kind of like a something is this thing. Okay, a leadership is a kind of like a something person who knows that particular community. When that particular person who knows that particular community, then that person would kind of like lead that particular community to the right way. Okay, yeah. So basically the leader is actually came from that world. Okay, like I am not from that world. Okay, yeah, like basically this thing, when I will have opportunity to lead those worker, I will not kind of like a somebody from that world. I am not really sure who are those worker, what they have kind of like some challenges, why they kind of like a do some sort of like a kamchurpan and stuff like that. Why they kind of like a playing gambling, why they are watching porn every time. I just kind of like didn't really knew it. Okay, there is almost like a 53 year old guy who is watching porn. I was like, what the fuck, dude? You came here for work, you're watching porn. Like, I was like really fucked up. Like, at the age of 53, you are still watching porn. I was like that. भाई ये तो कित I don't know. Okay. And basically it's this thing now, like there are so much very different kind of like people like I was interact. There is a kind of like a guy who is actually actually okay. What is actually this thing, like in the power plant, the people are so crazy over there, like super crazy and super horny. Everyone is watching porn, and basically porn, and then like a basically um, daru, drinks, beer, alcohol, less knowledge, kind of like a saying sort of abuse word to the everyone, like just kind of like a something like that key walking as a naked. Like basically there are a couple of worker who are actually kind of like a walking naked, and they don't really ashamed of that, literally having that confidence while walking on naked. Like I was kind of like a feel really ashamed to seeing that particular people, but like that, what that fuck is this, dude? Okay, like this is kind of like a something world that I never really belong. Like I was not really understand that, or maybe I'm not really sure is this world is even exist or not. So it's a very fucked up thing, dude. Okay, yeah. So I feel very rejected when I went there. Now it's like very different kind of world. Okay, so I am not really sure. And as also is this thing, there is a one thing that I'm might gonna understand. You gonna understand that ki you are kind of like something average of your surrounding. Already, yeah. So if I kind of like a something in that particular company for more than a year, then probably I would become that person too. I would become to that world too. Okay, and I don't want to be, because I have kind of like something set of different goals and achievements and everything. I wanted to educate myself. Not only educate means like that. I'm not talking about kind of like a something like that, like a graduation, post graduation. No, educate means like that, a kind of like a better thought process regarding about what I'm thinking and stuff like that, to make kind of like something proper decision, not only for me but as also for my life, for my better community, for like for better version of myself. Okay, yeah. If I'm kind of like a something stuck in that particular power plant, then probably I would become that particular person, and I don't want to be. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing that key, like they are not rejecting me, but I am kind of like something rejecting myself into that particular surrounding, that key, like I shouldn't supposed to be go there, I shouldn't supposed to be go there, but still I have a job and I have to go there. So it's a really fucked up situation, but still I worked there for 1 year. I had experience regarding about like how is exactly working this thing, and yeah. So this kind of like a something the rejection thing that I might gonna like this kind of like a something handle a rejection. Like basically is this thing, how do I handle that rejection? Like basically is this thing that na came like a 9 hour of job, it was kind of like something very hectic, but then after that I feel really good. Okay, yeah. So um how do I handle the rejection? Well, it's like that na ki first of all accept that reality. Okay, and if you wanted to blend with that, or if you wanted to accept that reality and just go through it, like maybe this kind of like something solution that I wanted to mention over here. Okay, yeah. Because rejection and failure is always be happen. Okay, yeah. I didn't really experience a kind of like a something like perfect rejection that I wanted to explain this thing in this particular. Like a rejection means like that, like basically this thing, you like a particular girl for a year and you try to approach that girl, but suddenly she reject you. So I didn't really experience that thing. So I do I do experience that thing too. I do experience, yeah. It's not reject, but yeah, I do experience that thing. I wanted to talk even more about this thing, but suddenly I have some sort of work to do. So I will be explaining even later. All right, yeah. So at this moment, this is kind of like some of the rejection that I handle. Okay, yeah. And this is it. Thank you. Hello.